One of the habits I try to get my students into is to listen to a wide variety of music. A student of mine has been getting into a lot of funk guitar recently and has become a quick fan of Wolfpack and Corey Wong. Now, I've recommended Corey Wong's Neural DSP plugin to a lot of people and have it myself. And when I got to meet him a few weeks back, he mentioned he uses that plugin for just about everything he records. The timing of him mentioning that and my student becoming a fan led me to an interesting realization. It is easier and cheaper than ever to get inside your guitar hero's head when it comes to building out a rig. If you like what you see here today, please comment, like, subscribe. It really helps the channel and I really appreciate it. And in the description below, there's links to my Patreon, Twitch, and Instagram for way more content. Now, at least in Corey Wong's case, you can get a Highway 1 Strat like he plays for under $1,000. But for ease of adding, let's say it's $1,000. You can get the same Seymour Duncan Antiquity pickup set that he uses for $270 and his plugin for around $150. The fact that for a little less than $1,500 you could have the exact same tools as one of the top guitarists right now makes this time in history very unique. For the price of 2 boutique guitar pedals, you could have a very clear window into how Corey Wong thinks of tone. If he happens to be a guitar hero of yours and you want to get some experience with those great DI and amp sounds, the potential for learning here is huge. Especially with the amount of presets that come with the plugin, it's almost like your guitar hero is guiding your hand when setting the knobs. Imagine getting backstage passes and getting to see your hero sound check, dial in all their sounds, except then they turn to you and say, "Hey, come over here. Here's my guitar. I have everything dialed in, just play it and see if you like it." Not only that, while you're trying everything, your guitar hero goes, "Hey, why don't we take a snapshot of this moment in time, turn it into a computer program that you can recall, edit, and save to your liking." Of course, not every guitar hero would be that simple or cheap to understand. I'm pretty sure both John Mayer and Joe Bonamassa play in front of a college tuition's worth of amps and have guitar collections that rival Sam Ash. In that case, those YouTube videos that show how to approximate a guitar tone on a budget are very useful. But that's also where amp modelers and profilers come in handy. There are plenty of rig rundown videos where prominent guitarists will share their rigs, settings, and the ideas behind their choices. Now, I may not be able to dial in their exact tones with my Fractal FM3, but I'm sure I could get close if I'm using a guitar that's in the ballpark of whatever the player is using. So why is this important to bring up? When I was growing up, I was enthralled with all the usual guitar suspects. Joe Satriani, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Steve Vai, Sean Lane, etc., etc. There weren't many interviews and even fewer videos that really broke down the approach these players took. Say I was a Stevie Ray fanatic and I was able to find some rig breakdown in a Guitar World magazine. What I'd find are amps like a Dumble, Super Reverb, Vibrolux, and a handful of pedals. There's no way that's a feasible rig without a serious commitment to that sound. The idea that I would go through all the trouble to recreate Stevie's full rig just to see the pros and cons of his approach and how it relates to my playing is very unlikely. What if I don't really love it? At that point, I'd have spent tens of thousands of dollars, or almost $100,000 if I bought the Dumble, just to find out that I need to sell everything that I just bought. If I wanted a much cheaper option, I could go with a Hot Rod Deluxe for $800 and some pedals for $300. At that point, I'd be hard-pressed to do any kind of home recording, though, without plenty of additional costs. So for a similar price of that cheap option, there are plugins, modelers, profiles that can get me at least a good imitation of Stevie Ray's rig and almost all of my other guitar heroes. To get used to the software and hardware, so it's not exactly like a cheat code or some super easy workaround. But now I'm able to build rigs that are like my heroes and hopefully get a better understanding of how and why they chose the gear they did for their playing and for their music, using models or profiles of amps that I've still never seen in real life. Honestly, at this point with my curiosity, I'd probably pay $5 just to hear a Dumble up close in real life. I know I'd love a 2-Rock Studio Signature and a Friedman Dirty Shirley, but I don't really want to wait until I can afford to drop $6,000 on 2 amps to learn about them. At the moment, I'm not sure people generally feel super confident about some of these complex digital options. And there is a great feeling about just plugging into an amp and turning it up. But for those of you who are like me, who are curious about all the different ways a guitar can sound and what your guitar hero was thinking when building their rig, There's never been an easier time to get into the laboratory and experiment. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all next week.